WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Everything earned for a goal of elevation. Just passing the team over here, might finish that bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Big up, everyone. Hope you're doing well. This stream was going to be a serious discussion about our new owner, but there is breaking news that Lyon have been relegated to Ligue 2. Lyon have been relegated. We knew that Textor had gone to meet up with the officials today. There was even a picture of him being locked outside, which was crazy. I don't know where to begin. Look, we don't know what that means for us, but for them to be relegated to League 2 because of finances could have an implication with UEFA too. We don't know. But before I start bursting out my seat, Tim, how are you?
I'm doing well. I feel like we have to do almost like the Ebb celebration. Like
that. This is outrageous.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm stunned. I really am stunned because even though, and maybe this is provisional. I mean, we obviously don't know, but I had thought like some of this money that Textor was getting from Woody Johnson was clearly going to be earmarked for the DCNG. It had to be in order to get the French finance regulators off his back. So I thought that was like nailed on, Rich. I did, and then maybe you use some of the rest of that, or maybe even all of the rest of that to go buy Sheffield Wednesday. Who knows? But I thought like there would be some kind of period where, you know, you'd go to the French regulators and say, okay, here's what I've got for you, and we should close this like before the Europa League starts in September. But nope. This is amazing.
It's mad. It's unbelievable. Look, let's be honest. The selling of shares, I don't think if there were many people that would have solely thought, oh, look, we've sold our shares, that must guarantee us Europe. I don't think there's going to be many that thought that.
Yeah.
We literally were thinking the selling of the shares is solely to save Lyon's bacon.
Mm-hmm.
But it hasn't happened.
I know.
It's crazy.
It is incredible. But to be fair, I mean, if we're putting this in context, the French regulators are very strict. I mean, they do not mess about, and they have been tired of Textor for a while now. By the way, the Brazilian regulators are not too happy with him either. So I know what he said on the way out with his sale of shares, and he took a little bit of a dig at the existing board that, you know, like, hey, I wanted to win the Europa League every year, you know, get into the Europa League every year instead of once every 100 years. Like, oh, okay, easy, pal, but whatever. This is, on the one hand, I'm shocked. On the other, I'm not shocked at all because of just how tired they have become with his antics. But yeah, man, I mean, this is going to be super interesting. So now the question for both of us, Rich, but I'll punt it to you. Like, if they are in Ligue 2, right? And then in December, they got a provisional inclusion, like into like UEFA had sort of said, okay, we'll leave this alone because it looks like you've done some work with the DCNG. So that was settled apparently in December. Now it's not. Are Lyon out of the Europa League?
I think that's going to be the big question. And I think if there was that settlement in December saying, listen, it looks like you're getting things in order, then I can understand why they said, look, we'll see how it goes. Now that they haven't, we're talking about sporting integrity here now.
Yeah,
that's the big factor in their manifesto. Hey,
I know. I
you
mean,
might as well say, listen, see you later.
yeah, and Chairman makes a good point here. I mean, maybe that's right. That the money is, like they just Jerry Maguired Lyon and said, "Show me the money." Like, and if you can't show me the money right now, well, off you go.
No, 100%. I'm sure we're going to keep running back to this
Yeah,
discussion as it
sure.
goes along. I
Yeah,
will, if I'm looking down, it's because I'm just going to be looking on my phone just to see what other developments come from this, what other articles say and stuff. But this is huge news that Lyon have been relegated due to their finances.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
yep,
Right. Let's start off with Sportsbank, because obviously the news came out that Willie Johnson's taken over, and then Sportsbank then tweet. So Zachariah S.M. Janjua, our bid of $250 million wasn't enough to get the deal over the line. Good luck to Woody Johnson and his team. Good luck to JT. We want hashtag CPFC to do well. A big shout out to everyone at Sportsbank. I feel your pain. It hurts. I'm super proud of all of your efforts. Now, $250 million, Tim, is about how much pounds? Because I think Texas
I
sold
can't do that. I can't do that in my head, but I think it's closer to 170 million pounds. It's not anywhere close to what
190, 200 in it.
yeah,
Yeah, gotcha.
it's nothing like what I think a lot of the other bids were closer to 170 million pounds, and when Woody Johnson was offering 190 million pounds, I thought he was going to end up in the driver's seat, and that's still lower than what Textor wanted. Textor wanted more than 200 million pounds. He really valued Palace at close to half a billion and greater than half a billion pounds in total value. I'm not sure you could get away with that right now, but fair enough. Like I would have a hard time seeing Palace valued at more than 400 million pounds, because the top teams in the league, like the biggest revenue generators, are maybe commanding 5 times turnover in evaluation, and that's in like takeover discussions. So you wouldn't really expect Palace to be more than like 2 times turnover. And last year, 190 million, 380 million pounds. So like you get to 380 million, 400 million pounds, that's probably fair. So it just wasn't getting. Northampton Eagles said 183 million pounds. For 43% of the business, that's not bad. Like Sportsbank's bid wasn't lowballing, really. It's just not
Yeah,
as much as Woody was offering.
yeah. Well, which brings us obviously to Woody Johnson himself. Obviously, I'm from the UK, and I do watch the NFL, but I wouldn't say I watch it to know the
I have seen
ownership.
you watch the NFL, Rich.
No,
And
I do, but I said I don't watch it enough to know the ownership, if that makes sense.
no, but I
Yeah.
know. I remember watching the Super Bowl with you
I
guys.
love the
Just
Super
like
Bowl. I'm sorry. I
you,
do love NFL. I do love it. I just don't know
I
the
mean,
owners.
it was very fun explaining to you guys the rules as you're watching it.
And thank you for that. I mean, I know the rules. I'm all right. But it's the likes are like realist, and the others are like, why are they calling it football? They're throwing it with hands.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
But
But anyway,
Tim, who is Woody Johnson, and how much is he actually worth?
yeah, that's a big question, because at the net worth question, I think it ranges. The estimates range somewhere between 3.4 billion and 9.9 billion. So I don't know. Let's just say he's probably worth around 5 billion, which means he is worth multiples of John Textor. But all of this comes down to he is a descendant. He descends directly from the original family that founded the Johnson and Johnson Corporation in the United States in 1886, I believe. Um, and so that's not old for you guys. That's old for us, as an old corporation. So just to put some some numbers on this. Johnson & Johnson is worth market value in the U.S. of $366 billion, $88.8 billion in revenue in 2024 alone, 138,100 employees as of last year. So he's inherited money from that fortune, the original founding family of that. So he's several generations from the original founding family, but he is named after the original founder of Johnson & Johnson. That's Robert Wood Johnson. So he is Robert Wood Johnson, I don't know, the fourth or whatever it is. And so he goes by Woody. That's his nickname. And he founded an investment firm. He never worked at J&J as far as I can tell. He had an investment firm, and he put some of his inheritance money to work inside that investment firm, and he's made money from that. And he's the co-owner with his brother, Christopher Johnson, of the New York Jets, NFL team. And they are...
Sorry, Tim. You know what? When you started talking Johnson & Johnson,
I know, man.
I knew there would be someone in the comments.
It is. And the nickname, I mean, I don't know why. Like, do you want? Are you just inviting, a general beating by giving yourself two phallic names?
I was going to become a banter club. Woody
Oh my gosh.
Johnson, and the fact that it's baby oil as part of their branding. Man. We're done.
Seriously. I mean, it is like, yeah, it is like the most phallic name ever, so yeah. And to be fair, he has generally screwed over that team that he has owned for 25 years. So that's the issue. Animal said something about there's a bit of pearl clutching about these guys. I have some real concerns about Woody Johnson. I personally don't think I'd like him very much, but I'm setting all that aside.
Segment, because that was
When we get to that, my views of it, my views of it are going to be about his performance. But anyway, who he is, got a lot of money. He comes in, he buys Texas steak. The question for me as a Palace fan is, and I'll do like a mini rant on this, not too much, but it's like he comes in to take Texas steak, and it does appear that he's going to just have the 25% voting share that Texter had, so no special deals there. Great. If those guardrails are in place, fantastic. And I have no problem. Like, I recognize that football has changed, Rich, and you're going to have overseas owners. I don't really care about that. But what I do care about is I want, even if you're American, if you're Saudi, if you're from Georgia, if you're from Estonia, I really don't care. But if you're a fan of our club, great. That's what I want from you, because you're a steward. That's what you are. So I want that. If he was an American who was coming in as a fan of the club and really like a dyed-in-the-wool fan of the club who had stewardship interests and was trying to build the foundations of the club up, great. That's the best of all worlds for us, and I hope that happens. But the man was part of the bid for Chelsea, and we can get to that later, Rich, but that's one of the things I'm nervous about.
Oh, that's fair enough. I mean, I guess let's move on to which is probably the biggest question of all of them. What would his role be? Like, what? Because obviously there's speculation all over the gaff. I mean, for me personally, if he's buying the shares, he's buying the 25% voting, right? And that's it, and Parish takes over. But is there a larger end game in his eyes? Like, where do you see this going?
Well, apparently the answer to that is no. So let's talk about the good things here, because I think Pat is not too concerned about this, which I like that. I'm glad that you're positive about this, Pat. We need people to be positive about this. There are some positives. The one positive is he is somebody who will come in as an investor in the club. and he has no other football clubs in his portfolio. He's got an NFL team and he'll have Palace, which means he doesn't have something else to distract him. There is no multi-club nonsense. That just goes away. And honestly, that's a relief. So that is a good thing. What will his role be? It'll be to write big checks. And I think the main thing that he comes in for, Rich, is to help build out the main stand, because we've all seen the reports about how the cost of the main stand has ballooned, and the latest figures were like 200 million pounds. Like, good grief. I mean, we got to get this thing done until it becomes even greater than that. So he is somebody who's got that capital, who could come in and start writing checks and provide capital to get that done sooner rather than later. And he has he has other problems, but one thing that is not a problem, he is willing to spend money. He has proven he is willing to spend money. There are other things that are bad about his ownership of the Jets, but not his willingness to spend money. He spends money. So I think
just on that, with his willingness to spend money, would he then be thinking, right, I'm going to try and buy out maybe Harrison Blitzer? And like, what
that doesn't
do you think he's the type of person to try and have a look? I want all or nothing.
He might be, but I don't think we know that yet. But he might be, and I would not put that past him, because he does have a meddling reputation with the Jets. So that could happen, and that is a little bit of a worry. Having said that, all the reports up to this point is that he's not interested in that. He doesn't want to be doing that. And he also is not terribly, I mean, far as we can tell, he's not really knowledgeable about football. So I think the ideal.
There's rumors he's not knowledgeable about the NFL either.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk about that. But yeah, so there is an argument that is going around that may be credible, that he's going to be an investor and he wants to compound his money. He wants a piece of the action, and the Premier League does. I mean, there's been a lot of action in the Premier League, and there's a new broadcast deal that's bigger. So he may just see this as a place where there is money to be made. And if that's the case, fine.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good question. With his willingness to spend, is he impulsive like TEXTOR? If so, could he get us into FFP trouble? I mean, I guess Parish will be smart enough to avoid FFP trouble.
Exactly.
But is he the impulsive type?
He is the impulsive type. He is absolutely the impulsive type, and this is why we want the guardrails. Like, he has two sons, so this is what's coming up. He has two sons, and again, we can go into this in more detail, but these two sons have kind of inserted themselves into the dealings at the Jets and made recommendations to their father, and their father has made some very impulsive moves. One story on this, and again, we can get into more detail on this later, but there was a point at which the Jets were going to go for a player who's out here, or was out here, a really talented wide receiver named Jerry Jeudy, and was slated to go to the Jets. They had a deal on the table. They were going to trade for him, bring him in. It would have been great because they had just brought in Aaron Rodgers as the new quarterback. And then the story is that Brick or his brother had just told their dad that, oh, this guy's Madden rating on something or other. Madden is a popular NFL video game. Wasn't something. And so Woody passed. Jeudy went to the Cleveland Browns and proceeded to put up 1,000-yard season last season, which, if you don't know the NFL, those are some really good numbers. So, I mean, honestly, I hope that's not true, but the Athletic sorted it you know, they reported it, so I believe them. I don't have any reason to believe that's not true. So he does have a reputation for being impulsive, Rich. So the guardrails that we've got are that's my belief. I think the guardrails that we've got right now are super important, man.
Right. So basically, what we've got to do is make sure that these kids don't know about FIFA.
That's true, man. Just take the PlayStation, take it away, man. Like, do not let these kids anywhere. Just don't tell them that Football Manager exists.
That's it. Oh my gosh. Right, Tim. I'm going to give you this platform. But the next question is, why is there so much uproar about him?
So there's different reasons. There is he's a horrible human being reason, and depending upon what your beliefs are and who you are, like, he's reported to have made some pretty disgusting comments about women and racial comments, and that is objectively terrible. So there's that argument. But then there's the other argument which, you know, I may not be fair. Just because I may not agree with him, and he's he's like a dyed in the wool, deeply political, figure, very divisive figure here in terms of politics here in the United States. So if that is your bag too, you won't like him for that. I'm going to set all that aside and just say he's inept. I think he's inept. And I think that is something that we should be concerned about as Palace fans, because his record stinks. 25 years of owning the New York Jets. And he's made a lot of money on the Jets, Rich. I think he bought it for about $625 million back in 2000. I think the franchise is worth today somewhere around 6.5 to 6.9 billion. He's made a lot of money over the 25 years of owning the New York Jets. So there's no question that he's made a great financial deal here, but he has torched their reputation. They are all of the reports. All you have to do is read that Athletic article to see how much toxicity exists around the Jets dressing room, that he's disruptive in the dressing room, that he has overridden coaches, that he has made stupid decisions like this one with Jerry Jeudy, that he fired Robert Saleh before Robert Saleh really had a chance to turn things around, that he's made, I think he's had 8 either regular head coaches or interim head coaches over those 25 years. And in a sport where there is no relegation, that is a lot, because you can't get relegated. You can finish last and get great draft picks. So there isn't the same incentive to get rid of a coach as there would be like, oh man, we might drop a division here. So when you have that kind of churn, it's bad. But probably his biggest sin is he came in and immediately the guy who could have taken them to the promised land, for those who know the NFL, is legendary coach Bill Belichick, who led the New England Patriots to, was it 7 Super Bowl titles? Yeah. The same day that Woody Johnson comes in as owner of the New York Jets, and Bill Belichick was supposed to be the new coach of the New York Jets, hired before Johnson came in, writes on a napkin, "I quit," and he's out before even the press conference. Gone. That could have been the dynasty that the New England Patriots had, the New York Jets could have had. He is utterly inept as an NFL owner, and I think that is reason to be at least questioning whether or not we want this guy around. If he's going to be around and not involved in football decisions, fair play. He's got a lot of money. But if he's going to be in any way involved with football decisions, I think I have a right to be concerned.
Great. I'm going to go look into that Athletic article actually after this. Obviously, look, we're in the transfer window as it stands. And I guess the big question, he stepped in, but how much was he willing to contribute to the transfer window? Because we then got to speak about potential outgoings as well as incomings.
Right. I mean, it could be like the thing that could be great. And I think this is, like I said, I'm generally suspicious of the American, and I mean, I'm an American myself, so I feels hypocritical to say this, but I'm generally suspicious of the American investor owners, even though I'm an investor myself, because they're not really investors. They're more like private equity vulture investors. What they're looking for is quick returns. They're trying to juice up money any way they can. They're not really trying to build the structure and foundation of the club that they own and just make it more valuable over time. If we had that, I'd be more than willing to have that, especially if it's a fan who's coming into the structure. So the worry with Woody is, what does he actually want in terms of returns? But I do think, Rich, like this is an area I'm not worried about. Like with the transfer window, I don't think he's going to get approved until September.
That's a
Long
good point,
after,
actually. Yeah.
he's not going to get approved. So we're not going to see his money until maybe January. That's fine. We've got enough money. We can fund this transfer window. Parrish has been really smart. I don't think that's going to be an issue. But it's not going to be before January when we see his money. But I do think we'll see his money like for transfer windows. That's not an area I'm concerned about.
Fair days. Guys, I guess that pretty much sums up everything, I hope, to a T. Obviously, the final question, I think we kind of covered it at the start, was actually regarding would this sell have helped us with regards to Europe? But the news then broke out that Lyon have been relegated. So that in itself might help us regarding Europe. And I guess we just have to wait and see. But what a bombshell of
But
news.
don't you think, I mean, can we just for a moment like dwell on what I think is good news? Like Palace hadn't been kicked out of the Europa League. We are in until that board decides that there's a disqualifying event. And I don't see them doing it, Rich. Like if they were going to do it, they would have done it as quickly as they did it with Dragada, which I think was heartbreaking. But you would think it would have gone faster, right? And and then we would already be in CAS. But I just don't see it. Like it's I think we're probably safe, but
I also think now UEFA are going to want to avoid CAS that badly. So they've now said they could now say to Lyon, well, we'll just kick you out.
Right.
And it just dilutes everything, So I think, UEFA do not want this to go to CAS. It's going to be a major headache for them. I think they do generally want us in the competition for sporting integrity, but if it goes to CAS, there's nothing UEFA can do about it, So I think this news has probably tipped the scales even further in our balance.
I would think so. I mean, I'm not. The question that's going to be interesting to me, and I wonder what you think about this, Rich, because you guys sit right near them for all of the home games. What is the HF going to do with Woody at that first home game? I mean, that to me feels like that is the comedy I cannot wait for. I am so looking forward to that first banner, man.
Yeah, it will be interesting, to be honest. But the thing is, I won't be able to see. I'm gonna have to go online because the lower home store's there, and I'm upper home store, so I won't be able to actually see it anyway. But we all know Twitter is the fastest news source as it is.
Yeah,
it will be out by 3:05, the latest. It will be this there, ding, 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 and I'm sure we'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Let's just talk some other news. Obviously, we're rumored towards Andy Diouf. Who else we rumored at? Angelino, I believe we had a 12 million Euro bid rejected by
Yeah.
Roma.
Yes.
Then on the flip side of it, you've got the Mark Gahey and the Ebbs dilemma. Like, what do you make of those two ones, Mark Gahey and?
My hot take is that I want Mark to stay whether or not he signs a contract, because I think he can help us win the Europa League, and that is worth a lot of money. So I would be fine with that. If he goes, I think he ought to go to Liverpool, and I think he's right to demand that if he does go there, he's got to play. I mean, he's got to start. He wants to play in the World Cup. I mean, why would you go and sit? Like, you can't do that. So I think Mark is a little bit more complicated. With Ebbs, I don't know what to think of that. I see a lot of Spurs fans chirping about how he's going to Tottenham. I'm not sure. Like, is that? It's still a 68 million pound release clause, Rich, and they can afford that, but I don't know, man. That is not usually what Tottenham likes doing, and we're not going to give them away for nothing.
No, we're really not. I mean, obviously, these rumors about installments and stuff is quite interesting, to be honest. But going back to the obviously Mark situation, I was on Coppish. I did a recording with Callum yesterday.
Okay.
Team Coppish, Liverpool fan channel. And he was asking me this, like, similar things, like, should he go to Liverpool? Would he start? And I was telling him the same thing. I was like, look, I don't expect him to go there and not want to start. But that's not me discrediting, like, Virgil starting. But I think personally, Konate gets overlooked as a centre. I think he's good. So
he's very good. Yeah.
Now Liverpool are going to look at this as, like, we get Mark Gahey, we have strengthened in our centre back area.
Right.
And stuff. And it might be a case where Mark doesn't start games, but he won't want that either. It's a very difficult decision for him to make.
Then you have Newcastle that wants to go in for him. We don't know for how much. He might start it at Newcastle. I think there's a decent chance he would start there, but I'm not sure that he's sold on going to Newcastle, because he had a chance last year and he never. All the reports are he never said he wouldn't do it, but he didn't say, like, yeah, I want to do this. And I think if he had said, yeah, I want to do this, and it had gotten to 70 million, I think we would have sold. So there's something's not right there. And I don't believe he would want to go to Spurs either. So I think it's Liverpool or nobody in Mark's case. So that's super interesting. So we are probably, from my judgment, Rich, on track to lose one player, Mark or Ebbs. It doesn't seem like both. It certainly doesn't seem like JP is interested in going. So if we're in the Europa League, there's a real chance that most of these players stick. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But the most important thing is that the club's got money. The club's got money to spend. I'm curious what you think about this, Rich. Let's say Mark stays. Is it possible that you still go in for Diamande if Mark stays, or is that an only if Mark goes?
I really hope we need to have a need a signal of intent. I think could look our back three, Mark, Max, and Chris Richards, unbelievable. But beyond that, we're scrambling a little bit. Riyad's out till January, so that leaves Lerma and Klein.
Right.
We're gonna need numbers anyway.
Yeah.
Then you think about the midfield. Are we thinking about Andy Diouf because Lerma will be dropping as a
center back? Right.
I know to try to put out rumors about we're getting ready for Adam Wharton's leaving. I mean, there's even rumors about Douglas Luiz. I don't know if
that's come on, that's garbage. That can't be right.
I generally think now reporters are thinking, oh, Crystal Palace in Europe going to need to strengthen. Let's just link them with Palace and see what comes from this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. A lot of agent talk. I'm still getting used to how crazy UK media is. It still blows me away. No, I think you're right about that. That's utter madness. But I do agree with you that it feels more likely that Lerma's going to get plenty of minutes, but he's probably going to get more this next season. He probably gets more minutes center back than he does in midfield.
Yeah.
And I don't think that David Ozo is ready yet because he had his injuries this past season. It just makes more sense for him to stay on loan at Derby if they're willing to re-sign him. But Chairman makes a really good point here. If we pay 40 million plus for a player, which we may have to get Diamante, does he have to start? And like in most cases, it would be like, yeah, he's got to. But then where does he start?
But if Mark stays, I think it's harsh on Chris Richards, but he'll probably take Chris Richards' place. And that is harsh on him.
That is super harsh on him because he's been playing. I mean,
he's been brilliant.
I mean, to be honest, I have not watched all of the Gold Cup games, but what I have seen, the U.S. has looked terrible except for a couple of players, and Richards is one of them. He's like the best player on the pitch, followed by Diego Luna, who I think is a shockingly Palace-like player who I kind of wish we would get our hands on, but I feel like I can't be trusted to say that because that's just me being a homer for a U.S. player, but I like him. But yeah, that's a fair point, Chairman. Yeah, and I don't know if Diamante has ever played right center back. I'm going to assume yes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be suggesting that, but it would be very harsh on Chris.
No, it would be very harsh on Chris. Guys, I think we'll leave it there. I did drop a quick little poll in the survey if you want in the chat. Let me see if I can read it. Hold on. Where are we at now?
Oh, where's the poll here? Oh, are you happy with? Oh, are you? Oh, what is the split here? Are you happy with Woody Johnson?
It's just gone up. It's fluctuating. It's at 56-44 at the moment.
In favor or not?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
You know what? Let's leave that going for a little while. It'll be interesting. We'll give it. What are we on? Let's get it.
JC is going Haji right for. I mean, he's got. All right.
You know what? If we didn't get Europa League, I would have said yes. I think we need to be hitting like highs. Johan Bakayoko, Evan Gassand. I think we've got to start hitting those sort of players now. If we hadn't made Europe, then like the Haji Wrights, the Hayden Hackneys, the Championship players, go for them. We have got a new ceiling that we can try and hit.
Yeah. And I mean, look, we never once last season spent more than we took in terms of I mean, we don't know what the installment payments were, but on an absolute basis, we didn't spend more than we took in just in transfer fees. It didn't even get into the budget. Like, we got room, man. I feel like we're off to a good start with Walter Benitez. Yeah, we've got to make some good. We've got to make some good bids. Yeah, I mean, and we need backups on both the wingback sides. Again, how many times have we said that?
This is one player I think we should say to Fulham, listen, we have Europe. We're going to put a bid in for him just to test their nerve. Just to test their nerve.
I mean, it'd be great. He's had some injury issues recently. I love him. I think he's great. And I think him playing on the left side, because he's the left-sided, essentially he plays like a wing back.
Yeah.
Would he take Ty's spot? I mean, he would certainly challenge him.
I think this person here, David King, we've definitely spoken about him in the past. Yep. He definitely takes his spot.
Yeah. I mean, there've been some quality players. I mean, watching the Club World Cup, which I didn't think I was going to like.
It's been all right, actually.
It's been all right. It's been all right. It's actually been way better than I thought.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. There's some players out there that we can look at, and Pete Mateus Fernandez for sure. There's another one. I don't know. We've got some real choices here, and then I expect Glasner. Is this the week, Rich? I know you got to wrap up here, but I'm curious. Is this the week that the young players and players who are not out on international duty, is this week or next week when they come back and they start doing their first mini camps with Glasner?
I believe it'll be next week.
Okay. That's what I want to see. Like, of the young players, who's in? Is Hindala Mustafa going out on loan, or is he going to get a chance?
That's a tough one.
I don't think he should go out on loan, Rich, because he's only got 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, and that's the issue.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Other than that, unless he signs a contract.
Yeah, if he signs a contract, then he can go out on loan, but no chance. I mean, same with Franco, same with Teo. Like, unless we are determined to lose them, you don't send those guys out on loan.
No, absolutely. Ah, boy. Well,
interesting times.
It is very interesting times. I'm going to be doing that a lot with Twitter just to get more updates. But obviously, if you didn't know, Lyon have been relegated to Ligue 2. John Textor have not been able to raise the finances to be able to get them out of financial trouble in time. Does that mean UEFA might kick them out of the Europa League? We'll have to wait and see. If they kick them out, it means that CAS don't need to get involved. If we do get Europa League, there's so many permutations and implications that this decision alone could have. But my goodness me, it's going to be an interesting week for the Palace.
Sure.
And you know what? If we have to impromptu go live again, we will do so. We will do so. Tim, pleasure as always. Please shout out your podcast again.
Motley Fool Money, friends. I'm on Thursdays. I'm hosting now, so if you want some finance takes, we'll talk some tech. I think this next show we're going to talk the Paris Air Show. So it's been more business oriented. Every now and again, if I can throw in a football reference, I try to. But yeah, a little bit of business, a little bit of investing. Motley Fool Money, available in the UK. Go check it out, please. My employers will be happy with me if you do that.
No, absolutely. And as per usual, we're just obviously going to build up with like transfer weeklies. What we have decided to do a bit differently this year is we will do a collective done deals stream at the end of the transfer window. So we will discuss like the Walter Benitez and any other signings we get. Before we used to do it as it went along. Yeah. But I think we should do one separate stream focusing on all the transfers that we get in and stuff. So yeah, that will come probably after the transfer window is done.
Oh, Mary's asking what's the final on the poll.
Oh, snap. Good point. 62% yes. I'm going to end it right now.
Wow. I mean, I hope that's right. If Woody is just contributing money and he shuts his mouth, you know what? That could work out great for us.
Yeah, I don't think people will be upset about it, yeah.
Nope. Nobody would be upset about that. I wouldn't be upset about that.
No, 100%. Whew. Big up to all 70 plus of you in the chat. Please smash the like button on the way out. I think we topped at around that 84, which is incredible. So thank you so much for your support. Check out the channel for all the other like videos we've uploaded with the shorts. We did a FA Cup celebration one where we got a montage of everyone sending us like clips of the final whistle. I'm going to watch that again. It was so incredible just seeing the celebrations from all angles. Go and watch our vlog again for the FA Cup final. Keep watching any Palace content to do with our cup win. We love it. Until the season starts, we are going to ride this wave of success 1,000,000%. Tim, once again, pleasure as always.
Same.
Listen, guys, smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, share the channel as well. And as always, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.
Eagles.
Eagles.